Kyleigh Leaf, welcome to Women in Golf.
Hi, I'm so honored to be here. Season
Well,
two. Woo!
that's right. That's right. Well, thanks for kicking it off for us. And I'm super excited about this because we already know you and we've got kind of a fun past and like the evolution of our friendship and everything has really grown. But I do feel like we've never gotten a moment to stop and talk about like golf in your life, where you came from, like how your career is going and all those things. So I'm super excited to just get a moment with you.
Yes, I'm really excited. We're both really busy. You're extremely busy all the time.
No,
So, and any
likewise.
chance I get to talk with you for a little bit, I'm always down to do that.
So
So,
fun. I know. And
yes,
like we said, hopefully we get to do this in person sooner than later. But
yes.
I'm gonna have to come. I think I need to find an excuse. Well, you could be an excuse to get down to Hilton Head. So
I think
um,
so. I think so.
love that.
But
Well,
yeah.
listen, we kind of start all these conversations with just getting a feel for how golf kind of came into your life from likely a young age. So start us off in the beginning. How did golf become a part of your life?
All right. So I guess you'd have to say back in 2010, my dad introduced my sister and I into golf. He's an athlete, and so he we were always surrounded by sports growing up. He had three girls, but he was really wanting a boy, but and you got five of them, which is
Funny.
pretty
I know,
awesome.
we're like total opposite.
Right. So yeah, he just really just ingrained in my sisters and I's brain that sports would get us far places. It would get us a scholarship if we worked hard enough. And so we both played basketball growing up. Just being from Indiana, basketball is huge, and then realizing that we were only going to be around 5'4", 5'5", it wasn't going to get us to the path that we thought we could when we were younger, and a collegiate path and going professional. And so my dad said, I think golf is more sustainable for you girls. And we said, okay. And so we just kind of mess around with golf. In elementary school, in middle school, and my first set of clubs was actually my dad's set. Like, they were extremely heavy, like steel shafts that he just cut down in our basement and put like new grips on them. And the grips were not, my hands were just full of blisters all the
Oh,
time.
that's so funny.
Yeah.
It's like a
But,
strength workout just in
oh,
itself of
yes,
carrying
it
that
was.
heavier club.
Yes, it was. They were. I mean, my dad was using them, and he's like 240 pounds, and he played professional. He played collegiate golf or baseball, and he was going down the professional baseball path before he had me. So I'm like, Dad, your
Wow.
strength level's a little bit different than my strength level.
Oh,
But
that's so cool.
yeah, and so just started playing with his clubs, and then started really taking golf serious maybe when I was a sophomore in high school, because I realized college was on the come up and I needed to kind of get my ducks in a row and determine where I was going to go to college. And I knew that golf was going to open a lot of doors for me, in not just athletics, but in the business world, and just with having just that network of people. And I knew that just golf was very interconnected with a lot of things. And so I just started advocating for myself, working really hard. I wasn't the best golfer by any means in the state of Indiana. And so I knew that my best asset was just kind of my personality in a way. And so if I was able to talk to enough coaches and talk to enough people and mentors, that they would help me get to where I wanted to be. And so, and I work really hard. And
Oh, about that.
so I just, my sister, on the other hand, she's extremely talented. She doesn't really have to work as hard as I do to be as good as me. And
All
so
siblings are.
I know
Yep.
it's like, it's you, but I've come to realize that, since we both took different paths to get to where we are, and that's why we mesh so well. I feel like we're
Hmm.
opposites, but we're able to kind of balance each other out. So
That's so cool.
being able to
So,
golf in college with my sister was amazing.
okay, so hold on, time out.
Yeah.
So, high school, or how much older is your, or younger is your sister? Where are you in the
Yeah.
lineup?
So I'm 23 currently, and then my other sister, I have two sisters. One's 22 and one's 21. We're all 13 months apart.
Okay,
And
so
my
close.
21-year-old sister, she was the one that played golf with me in college. So,
Okay,
yes.
that's so neat. So obviously, but you went to the same high school. Did you play on the same high school team?
Yes, we did. Yeah. Uh,
And what? I think that's so cool. I was actually just talking to a local high school around here, and they were talking about their high school team, and of course it's co-ed, and there's one girl on the team. So how many girls were on your high school team?
No, so yeah, I've had a lot of friends in college that have had those co-ed teams, but
Mm-hmm.
fortunately enough for me in my state and I guess my high school, we had a full staff of girls on the team.
That's amazing.
We had to make cuts. Like we had there was 10 girls and I think we there was like 20 that
Tried out.
signed up to go to
Yeah.
tryouts, and so there was
Wow.
10 of us on the team. Yeah,
Hold on,
yeah.
that's really cool and unique,
Hmm.
and maybe just obviously regional and the growth in the sport and
Hmm.
probably reputation plays a role in all of that.
For sure.
Um, so how was the competition between in the high school level between you and your sister?
Um, it was always pretty intense. Yeah, there wasn't really much talking on the, I guess, the minutes before the match, but we would give each other a
Hmm.
hug just because
Cute.
we're both extremely competitive, but I get really nervous before any
Hmm.
matches. That's until I got a sports psychologist. He really helped me out, but
That's
that's
cool.
but it was pretty intense, but that's what made us better. We knew that
That's
our biggest competition was obviously ourselves because in golf it's such
mhm.
a mental game. Um,
Yes.
but and then adding that competition level with your sister really enhances
Oh yeah.
that competitive environment. So yeah, it was. I
That's
always
so neat.
yeah, I always tell my parents it was like the greatest gift is giving us a sister and then like being gifted enough to like play the same sport and take us around the country to be able to do that sport. I was like,
Right.
I couldn't have asked for a better setup
That's
and
a really unique situation. And I did you guys know, and especially, I mean, as you looked at colleges, were you super focused and narrowing in on your college decision just based off of where you could play, or was there some program or academics that played a role in where you wanted to go?
Yeah, no, that's a good question because now that I think about it, it's kind of wild that I graduated high school in 2019 and it's about to be 2025 now. So 6 years ago is pretty crazy to
Yeah.
think. But I knew I wanted to play golf, and the reason I had worked so hard too was to be able to help me pay off my college, my education.
Hmm.
And so, finding that scholarship was one of the biggest factors into looking at a college. And then also finding a location that I knew I wanted to get out of Indiana. It was a very humbling state to grow up in, and
Hmm.
it was a great foundation, but I knew it wasn't something that I wanted to be surrounded with the rest of my life.
Hmm.
So, love Midwest though, us Midwest
I
girls.
know. That's right. That's right. You're
Yeah,
like Midwest at heart.
yeah. So I wanted to go somewhere far enough away, but also like close enough. And so I went to Bellarmine University in Louisville, Kentucky, for two
Got it.
years. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then once my sister was getting recruited, she was like, "No, I got to get as far as out as Indiana as possible." I was like, "Okay, sis. All right." And as she was doing that recruiting process, I think once I got closer to her graduating, she was like, I
Mhm.
actually don't know if I can go all the way across the country by myself. And I was like,
Oh,
oh,
wow.
well, it was COVID and I was looking into potentially transferring. I was open to different ideas, and the coach from Bethune-Cookman University in Florida in Daytona Beach contacted me and said, hey, we're going to offer your sister a full scholarship. Would you want a full scholarship as well? And I was like, give me like 24 hours, then I'll get back to you.
Wow. Hold on,
So
that's so crazy.
I know,
I
I know.
I love
Yeah,
that. That's gonna be
really.
so unusual too.
Oh, and almost I was like, at first I looked at my messages
Wow.
and I'm like, is this a spam message? I'm like,
Yeah,
this is
yeah. Is this
really
right?
weird. I was like, Camry, is this like my sister? I was like, is this his legitimate phone number? And she was like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's so neat.
I
So it
know.
obviously you said yes to that move.
Mhm.
So you moved, was that then, did you start junior year and she started freshman?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how is golf at the collegiate level? I hear like there's so many stories and some similarities and differences, I think, between everybody's experience with
Yeah.
playing this sport collegiately.
Yeah. I mean, I've come to realize that collegiate golf, I mean, it's definitely next level, and
Hmm.
courses are longer, nerves are higher usually.
Hmm.
Competition is tougher than maybe like like a just a regular high school match, obviously, but if you've
Yeah.
been surrounded with playing like junior PGA level type matches and stuff like that, it's a similar environment to be around. But
Hmm.
just I mean, college golf, I may have taken it for granted my first like year or two, and I really regret it because there's nothing else like it, like that I've been around in my 23 years. Because
Hmm.
I mean, it's just the places you get to go, the opportunities that you're given, and just the way that every coach and every tournament director kind of sets you up at those tournaments. It's like you're almost like royalty in a way. Like you can
Yeah.
just tell that they really care, and that the tournament, like the people within the tournaments are just looking to just accelerate you and just move you onto the next level, whether that be on a professional level or whether that be
Hmm.
working in the golf industry or just, bettering yourself as a college student. And so
Yeah.
I'm extremely grateful for my college golf experience. The
Um,
golfing 36 holes
I
in a day is tough, but
Yeah, when you're doing it that often, it I think always at the collegiate level it becomes not necessarily work, but like it does take a lot of time and effort and juggling
yes.
college and the
Yeah.
sport.
Well, and then
So
just
did you
finding that balance too between like
yeah.
practicing and working and social life and school. And
Yeah.
I got to a point where my college golf coach had to tell me, Kyleigh, stop practicing so much. And
Oh,
I was like, why? He goes, no, you're practicing 6 to 7 hours a day. And he said, you're only having probably 2.5 to 3 hours of beneficial practice. So you need to
yeah.
figure out a way to prioritize a little bit better. And I was like, okay.
It's kind of crazy, but it's probably so applicable to, I mean, everything in your life that there's this
Hmm.
balance and only so much improvement you're going to make and almost doing yourself harm when you're so entrenched in one thing.
Totally.
I'm sure, yeah, that was probably shocking because I'm sure it feels like you need to spend every waking minute on something like that
Right.
to
Right.
improve and in your mind be the best, best version of yourself on the course. Now, during college, what were you studying?
I was studying communication and business.
Okay.
And
Oh,
then,
good. Good
yeah.
combination.
Yeah, so I was in mass comm and business administration, and then I had a
Hmm.
minor in exercise science and nutrition. So,
Cool.
yeah,
And
it was
it's
fun.
kind of fun to watch you because I feel like you've really, and not a lot of people can say that what they studied, they're now
Hmm.
doing.
Hmm.
Or like, I know the exercise science and things like that's just, a passion of yours, and
Yeah.
not necessarily hobby, but definitely more a
Hmm.
passion. And I think it's cool
Right.
that you, between that and now what you're into and that communication side of things, you're really, you're really into those, studies that you did have and finish with.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
were you obviously your first season there, junior year, and then into senior year? Were you doing any internships, or as you were thinking about kind of next steps in your career, were you dead set on participating in the golf world, or what were you setting up, yourself to do kind of after college?
Yeah, so my brain was constantly going like, what do I do? Where do I go? Where, like, what's
Hmm.
next? Like, there's so many options. Like, the the world was my oyster is what like people would always tell me, and I kind of get it
It's
now.
kind of daunting, I know.
Yeah. And so, Courtney Trimble was the
Oh,
answer
yes.
to so many of my questions. And she's
Hmm.
one of the biggest mentors that I've been able to be in the presence of for so long. And I'm so grateful for her because if it wasn't for Courtney, I probably wouldn't have been able to articulate my goals and been able to kind of delegate my time in the right
Hmm.
way. And she was really able to help me like structure my thoughts and kind of understand what I wanted to do. And so going
Nice.
to her, and I'm sure you can relate because that's how we met was through Courtney Trimble.
Yes, it
So
was. Well,
yeah.
that's like her in a nutshell. And so obviously we had her on Women in Golf early in season one,
Mhm.
and I actually got to go to one of her For Hire events. Like her as the founder of For Hire and what she's doing.
Mhm.
It was so neat to actually go to one of the events and
Yeah.
see, I mean, the group of women that she brings to the table, and just like what she's not, I mean, she's a coach at heart, so she
Yeah.
has this ability to share this knowledge and information and these skill sets to young women like
Mhm.
yourself, kind of trying to figure out what do I do next. And I love that she's doing that in the golf world.
Yes.
So how did you meet Courtney?
Yeah, so I met Courtney off Instagram. Oh no, actually, now that it's taking me back, my golf coach. No, I remember now because the golf world is so small. I mean,
Yeah.
you're aware, but it's just once you
Yeah.
get to talking to people, it's like, wow, this is actually this is a small little world around here in the golf industry.
Hmm.
But my golf coach at Bethune-Cookman, he had taken me and my teammates to the Orlando PGA Golf Show. And there was a
Oh,
seminar we went to, and we all sat down, and we were like, oh, it's one of these other seminars we have to go to and like listen to a panel talk. Like, it's stuff we already
hmm.
know. And truthfully, I'm like the only one that's really like perky and like excited to
I
listen. And
don't doubt it.
my other teammates were
I
like,
don't doubt that one bit.
oh my gosh. And my teammates are like, Kyleigh, take notes. Okay, we'll just look over them later. And I'm like, okay. And Courtney Trimble was one of the panelists. And so I followed her on LinkedIn, following that up and like following the meeting. And then there was a few other panelists as well that I still connect with. And then I followed her on Instagram and I loved hearing about her journey and she had just started up. Like she kind of just started like
Okay.
kickstarted For Hire and
Cool.
yeah, and then she had posted it on Instagram that she was having a women in golf event, and I saw Phoenix, Arizona, and I said, or Scottsdale, Arizona, and I said, oh, count me in. And then I read up more about what it was, and I was like, oh, actually, yeah, like really count me in because I really want to do that.
Cool.
And then I got my teammate Emma Hasty to go with me as well, and so she signed up
Man.
and she was accepted into the program, and I thought it was so
Yeah.
cool that we got to go, and I
And
will
that's, I mean,
forever remember that.
I bet. And that's like I remember kind of an application
Yeah,
process,
no,
right?
I was sweating going through like there was a video we had to make. We had to like write a video on like why do you feel like you are worthy enough to be or something. How would you educate children on golf?
Hmm.
And I had my sister probably take like 10 videos of me, and I was like just like, and I'm like I'm so nervous. I'm like I really hope that I like said what I wanted to say. Like I hope she understands what I'm trying to get across here. And yeah, the application process was a little nerve wracking, but then again, that was another learning curve to be able to
Hmm.
take and just realize that like, oh, this is what it takes to times get into a position you want to get in. You have to work a little bit
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of good practice. I'm sure it was, yeah, it's daunting at the time, but you'll always remember it. And you're like, if I can do that, I'll be fine.
hard. Literally, yeah.
So you went to, was that the first for hire event that they had? Was it in
Yeah.
Scottsdale?
It
Yeah,
was the
that's
first
right.
one in Scottsdale, and that's why the next year I missed out on you guys because you guys went
That's
the
right.
next year.
hmm
But
That's so
yeah,
cool. And I know just because of how we met too, which was
yeah,
through, Courtney and some other
yeah,
folks from Golf Forever.
yeah.
So, what came of the for hire event for you?
Yeah, there was, I mean, just the connections. I had a goal going into the For Hire event that everyone I met, I wanted to take something from them, and I wanted to gain insight on what they were doing, maybe how they got to the position that they were in, who they met along the way. Just I wanted to take some key things away from everybody, and so every single person that I met there, I think there was 20 or no, I want to say maybe there was 30 girls, and I got everybody's name, everybody's number, and everybody's Instagrams that had them. And sometimes I got like
Yeah.
a look like, "Do you really want my Instagram?" I'm like, "Yeah, I really do."
That's
And
so good.
so yeah, and so I was just able to connect with everybody and then just have a resource and to know that the relationship was mutually beneficial, that I was going to help
Yeah.
them out if I saw something come across that I was like looking at or talking with about maybe something to do with like club fitting, and I knew they wanted to be a club fitter. Well, I know exactly who to go and contact because that's their passion and this is what they need it filled. So I was just, just trying to make that
That's,
relationship with anybody and
yeah.
everybody. So,
Well, and I think that's such a key in networking too. And
yeah.
I mean, as we both know, golf is absolutely about that. And I
Yeah.
think you have such a selfless approach to networking, which
Um,
makes it so sincere. And
yeah. Aw,
there's so, like,
thank
that's
you.
how you build a network, is certainly like thinking of other people. And it might be that connection that gives you, in like, nothing that you
Yeah.
benefit from, but
Mhm.
it is that, I think, that touch point and people being like, "Oh wow, this was so nice of Kyleigh," and
Aw.
like I think that at a young age for you to realize that, I think is really really good. So,
Aw.
but I know that's your personality, so that goes so far, and I'm sure it's going to do wonders for you. What
Aw.
about so your, I guess, first opportunity, and I think it came from the for hire event, didn't it?
So I was the sales intern. That was my first gig for Golf
Yeah,
Forever. I was so
yeah,
pumped. Yeah. I was so excited about it. And I had the opportunity before I went to the event because I had met them through Courtney Trimble. I had met
yeah,
Stacy and I had met uh, yeah, I had met Stacy, and I also met Nicole Haggy, and I
yeah.
had met Christy, and so yeah, that was established before I went to the For Hire event, so that was really cool too, just
Got
knowing
it.
that I had
Neat.
that kind of
Yeah.
that position already locked in, and so going there for me, I got to like meet Stacy for the first time.
Yeah.
And I got to learn more about For Hire, or for got to learn more about
Go
Golf
forever.
Forever. Yeah, and just seeing the way that like Stacy and Nicole kind of like how they talked to people, how they like moved around, how they, just kind of just like just trying to I remember Stacy telling me, "Kyleigh, be a sponge. Whatever anyone says to you, take it in, be a sponge." And so
Oh,
yeah, that's one of the key quotes that I got from Stacy that I'll always remember. But yeah, that was my first gig and I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. I ended up moving up to being customer service specialist because I didn't want to leave them after my
hmm.
internship was done. So I worked
Yeah.
part-time for a little bit and that was really fun. And yeah, I think it's like one of those jobs that's like kind of working in like food and beverage. I think it's always beneficial to work in. And I think customer
Hmm.
service is one of those things too, because
Yeah.
you appreciate businesses and
Yeah.
organizations a little bit better after.
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
is. It is. And you actually get a good taste for the business in itself when you're
Yeah.
have that touch point with the customer, but also understanding the
Mhm.
internal operations and the execution that needs, to happen
Yeah.
to really kind of fulfill those customer needs. So,
Mhm.
and I know it's kind of funny how you and I met. I had Courtney, Nicole, Stacy. They've all been women in golf,
Mhm.
and I of course have leaned on them from a networking perspective.
Mhm.
And we were in a little bit of a panic as we headed into our second PGA show. And I remember being like, oh man, we really need somebody to help us at the booth. And of course, the first person I called was
Courtney.
Courtney to be
Yeah.
like, if we had to reach out to somebody to help us at the PGA show, who would you
Yeah.
recommend? She immediately said you. And then I was like, oh
Oh.
man, but she's at Golf Forever. I was like, I don't know if she's working at the booth. So I called Stacy and I was like, do I have permission to reach out to Kyleigh?
Yeah.
Um, so it's a true testament to you and like your professionalism and everything that you've
Oh.
come to the forefront of any of those ladies, thoughts. So, and then we got to have you at the show and you were just like a ray of energy and
Oh.
so
Yeah.
easy. Obviously, the first time meeting and we kind of threw you to the fire.
You have to be
But it
adaptable,
was,
right?
oh my gosh, quick on your
But
feet, you were.
well, it's because of you and Alexa. I mean,
Oh,
if
you're
you
so
guys weren't
cute.
so welcoming and so encouraging, and just you guys made me feel like at home already, like
Yeah.
right when I
Oh, I
walked
love
in
that.
and met you guys. So thank you for thank you
Oh,
guys for being who you are.
oh my gosh, absolutely. And I think now it's been almost a year, and you have a big new role as the marketing coordinator with Hilton Head Island,
Yeah.
and I want to hear more about that. And one, like, how did you fall? Not even fall into. I know it wasn't a fall into
Yeah.
situation, but how did you get into that role?
Yeah, so right now I'm here at my job at in Hilton Head Island, which is beautiful. It's part of the
Hmm.
Low Country, which
I love
I
it.
yeah, the vibe here is definitely what I've been longing for.
That's cool.
And so yeah, and so I'm the marketing coordinator, which I work underneath an amazing boss. Love her so much, and she's taught me so much to the ins and outs of marketing that maybe you learn in school, but you don't really get
Hmm.
to actually kind of, I guess, take in completely until you're in the
Hmm.
field. And so once you're in the
Yeah.
field working, doing day-to-day things, you'll really start to just gravitate towards all of these skill set that you've learned in a classroom like throughout college.
Yeah.
But because marketing is just, there's so much
Yeah, a
that
lot of different elements.
yes, that embodies marketing, and I just become so appreciative to have the instructor and boss that I've had, because she's been able to teach me so much about the marketing industry and the travel industry. And so that's I got this position because I was seeking out, I knew I wanted to work in the golf industry, whether that be in marketing, in sales, in media. And again, the world was my oyster. So I was like, okay, I'm going to need some help. And I probably was messaging Courtney. I was messaging
Hmm.
one of my best friends, Alexandra O'Laughlin. Like, I was messaging them probably to the point where I was annoying them, because it was like every day I'm like, okay, so I think I know what I want to do now. I think I know what I want to do. And I'm like, where do I go for this? And I'm like, but I don't know if I want to move there. Okay, is there something else I can do? Can I be remote? Can I do this? And so I
Yeah.
was just going back and forth, back and forth. And Alexandra just kept kind of reassuring me that, like, it's going to come, like, you're doing what you need to do. You're doing your due diligence. You're researching. You're putting yourself out there. You've opened these doors. You've made the connections you needed to make.
Hmm.
Just, you need to, focus on your golf tournament that you're playing right now. And we'll get back to figuring out where you're going to be and where you're going to land. And so Alexandra had a lot of connections with Hilton Head Island. She's worked for
Hmm.
them on the tourism side of things, so with the Visitor and Convention Bureau,
Hmm.
and so she's made a lot of very, you could say, authentic relationships with the bosses here, and so she had
Yeah.
that established. And then I was also kind of, looking in different businesses, whether that be specifically into golf, because I'm like, I maybe I do fully want to work in golf. Maybe that's just
Hmm.
something I want to do. And so I kind of bounced back and forth, took so many interviews. I probably interviewed 15 different places,
Oh my
and
gosh.
yeah, but when Ariana she's my boss, when she had messaged me, it was my last golf tournament of the year. She said, "Hey, come to Hilton Head Island for your interview." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I actually am going to drive to Hilton Head Island and go for my interview in person." And I'm more of like an in-person type of
Yeah.
that's kind of my vibe more. I rather do it, be there, feel where I am, smell where I am, kind of just
Hmm.
immerse myself into the environment. And so I drove right after my golf tournament at the PGA Works in Jacksonville. I drove from there to here to Hilton Head Island. And as soon as I got here and like met with my boss, I was like, okay, this seems like really real and like everything's clicking. Is this how it's supposed to go? And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just like, kind of in like a fantasy type world right now. I just got done with my collegiate golf career. I don't know if this is the right, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a
Maybe I'm
big
jumping into
move.
it. Yeah. And so it just, everything fell into place. Like the way that Ari and Bill, my two bosses here, just kind of set me up in terms of I'm working in the visitor and convention bureau side of things. So I get to work with travel and tourism. I get to work with like the local businesses on like the chamber side of things because we are under the Hilton Head Island and Bluffton Chamber of Commerce.
Hmm.
And so I get to work with local restaurants, local boutiques. I get to work with hotels and golf courses. I was like, okay, actually, this is what I want to do. It kind of,
Right.
and every day my tasks change. Like
Yeah.
there's concrete things I do. I work on contracts with different partnership agreements that we get to do.
Hmm.
I get to, look at we have a vacation planner that we send out every year. So I get to kind of do edits on that type of stuff. So I get to work in like journalism and blogging, which is like super cool. And I'm like, it's just every day is a new thing. And the people I get to meet along the way have been so fun in the past 3 months. And it was a leap of faith for sure, taking this position as my entry level job, which is
Yeah.
like my first career job straight out of college. And
Yeah.
I could not be more grateful for taking that leap of faith and joining the team here at Hilton Head Island in Bluffton's Convention Bureau. And just, yeah, I'm extremely grateful for having the connections that I had made and stuff like that. So,
It's so cool. I mean, to one, get an update on that, and then two, just that for your first formal job out of college, that you found something where every day is different, and that there is nothing better than a job where you're like, I'm not bored. I'm not doing the same thing every day, and
yeah,
with every new thing you get to do, you're learning so much. So, I
yeah,
mean, from
literally.
a career and foundation perspective, it's really, really neat. And you're in a beautiful location dealing with,
Spanish moss trees,
people.
you love those.
I do. I do. When I was down there, well, further south for sure, I was like, oh, I love it. I
Mhm.
love it. But it sounds like so many great things. And you've obviously have some management on your team that is really finding what you do best and
Yeah.
fostering that, which is wonderful. And I know this is the first like 3 months, and you'll probably just keep growing in that role and responsibilities. So I know, kind of tying this back to golf a little bit, are you still playing? Like, do you get to play very often?
Yeah, so I have got to get back on the course because I literally my condo is on a golf course. Like it's like there's some barriers there because it's a private golf course.
Yeah,
There's a lot
yeah,
of
of
like
course.
private courses around, but
Hmm.
I've only played once since I've been here. and that's on me
Oh my
because
gosh.
I should be going out and playing. But when I did play, I played well, and it was fun, like being able to play and not having like the stakes is high,
Yeah.
and you're just going out there and
No strings
doing your best.
attached. Right.
But I mean, it still comes on like, oh my goodness, Kyleigh hit the ball straight. But I'm like, wait, I haven't practiced. I have no
That's
expectation.
right. You have an excuse. And I'm sure
Yeah.
as you get settled too, you'll find that. Do you have any ladies that you can team up with and go play, or is that hard to find?
I haven't found any ladies that have wanted to play. I know there's leagues, and so I could
Hmm.
definitely join one. And so I need to get on that about yeah, joining. I need to join a league. My bosses were extremely excited too because my first assignment when I had joined the
Hmm.
team was Kingdom Cup tournament.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
so the Kingdom Cup tournament was amazing, and I was like in awe of being able to go on Harbortown golf links
Yeah.
and Heron Point and Atlantic Dunes and working with North and Warren and Kingdom Magazine and having the talent that came, Tom Watson and everything. And so that was really cool, and I was just so immersed into that, and I'd just been
Yeah.
work, 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 and I'm like, well, I guess I can play golf on the weekends. Like that's I could tie in some business like initiatives into a golf. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
part
right.
of my job.
I love
So
that. And you'll find that, and I'm sure you'll have another opportunity to work in that tournament. And
yeah.
I'm sure it was so much fun to be a part of that, and
Oh yeah.
especially from the Hilton Head Island perspective and all those courses. So I'm
Yeah.
sure you'll grow into, supporting that even more, which is going to be fun to watch. So
Really fun.
that's so nice. So what's I mean, we're nearing the end of the year. Is there
Yeah.
anything kind of on the horizon for you in terms of any special projects you're excited about, or like you said, maybe trying to play some more golf? Anything that's kind
Yeah.
of up next for you?
I think honestly, like there's so many exciting things at work. I've been working with trying to we're partnering with like different organizations and different companies across the United
Mhm.
States, and we're really trying to grow internationally, just Hilton Head Island as a destination, and just
Mhm.
trying to get more exposure. And so for me, that's kind of like my niche right now. It's kind of like my golf is just kind of
Yeah.
growing Hilton Head Island as a destination and just learning all the ins and outs of how I can grow in my position as a marketing coordinator, listening to podcasts daily, kind of just trying to, learn more.
Self-educating.
Yeah,
Yep.
self educating. And so I
Cool.
think for me, that's probably before the end of the year is yeah, just doing that. And I've had more family members come here and visit me than I've had in 6 years, Allie.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
It's
I
like,
don't doubt it.
oh, hi, Auntie. I haven't seen you in like 4 years.
That's so fun. Well, when you're
But
living in a beautiful place and now you're
yeah,
becoming the expert of how to travel and see Hilton Head Island, that's even cooler. I know I've
yeah,
had fun watching and I'm like, what cafe is she at right now? That's so cute. Or
one
like
that you
you're
need to come and drink with me at.
I
We need to have
know,
some
that's
coffee.
right.
Yeah.
I know. But I think you're doing a really nice job of just even showcasing and sharing kind of what you're getting to do, and all the wonderful businesses down there I'm sure appreciate your support, and
Oh, it's been so
the
fun.
visitor
Yeah, just
bureau.
getting to
Yeah.
meet the owners, meet the employees, and Hilton Head Island's a small place, so I mean, you really
Oh
you
my
get to make
gosh.
those
Yeah.
authentic, good relationships pretty quick, and yeah, I mean, it's been awesome just being able to be here and continuously grow it, and then having what's the oh the golf or yeah being able to golf here as well, especially in the fall. People say Hilton Head Island is the
Yeah.
most perfect time to be here is the fall time. So I mean it's still 80 degrees
Take note of
outside right
that. Oh, that's so
now. Yeah.
nice. Yeah,
So
that's wonderful. Like a good
yeah,
place to retreat to this time of year. That's
yeah.
so neat.
It
Well, I
Hmm.
I can't thank you enough, for joining us today. And it's going to be really fun to just watch you. You're so early in your career, but I think you've found a great spot and great people that are just, I know you'll grow with, and
Oh,
you yourself will too. Like it's really, really neat for all of us to watch and see. So
oh,
we're
thank
wishing you the best of luck and totally rooting for you. And like I said, you're the only person I know in Hilton Head, so I know who to call.
Yeah, Hilton Head Island in Bluffton, you would love all the little boutiques and shops in Bluffton.
Yeah.
And you would love biking around Hilton Head Island with me and going to the farmers markets and just,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, that's neat. I love it.
eating some crab and oh
Oh
yeah.
yes, give me, from Cleveland, Ohio. There's not much there's not much seafood. So
Aw.
twist twist my arm, and I know we'll keep in touch, and we love just supporting what you're doing, and we're so happy to have you on Women in Golf. So thank you
Aw.
for being here, been a
Thank
part
you
of it.
so much. Thank you so much. I feel like we've been talking about me the whole time and this feels really
It
weird. I keep
is.
wanting to like ask you questions about you.
Duh. It is totally about you. And I think this is the kind of thing that people resonate with, is just hearing everybody's story and just where golf can take you. And I think networking in the sport has gotten you to where you are. And it will continue to, I'm sure, just build on your career and resume and all the things.
Aw, thank you. Yeah,
So
golf will take you from coast to coast, all over the
that's right.
country, all over the world.
So
Well,
true. Well, thank you so much,
thank
Kylie.
you. Thank you so much for
Okay.
having me.
Absolutely.